So, hello again. Today, special video, Messi. Our friend Michael over at Noted and Archive did a great contest because he has 500 subs now, which in a way is not enough. He deserves much, much more, Messi. What do you think?
I think we double it. We're going to double it for him. This is like a pledge drive.
Yeah.
We want all you to subscribe to Michael Noted and Archive.
Please do so. We put a link down below because he really has a great channel. Really, really great into audiophile recordings, into neoclassical, and he is a musician of his own, isn't he, Messi?
He is a member of the originally Austin-based Balmorhea, a little bit of a neoclassical minimalism, avant-garde, easy influence of even the work of like Windham Hill records a little bit without being too airy-fairy, but also neoclassical influences, Richter, and I want to say John Adams, but not really John Adams. He's a big fan of the guitar player Bill Frisell and jazz. And he's in Los Angeles now. He just moved to Los Angeles, and Balmorhea just announced their new upcoming album, which I think comes out in March or April on Deutsche Grammophon. They got signed by the wonderful label Deutsche Grammophon, and the album's called The Wind. Now, don't confuse that with the Warren Zevon album called The Wind. It's beautiful. So pre-order it. I'm going to put a link on my channel to pre-order it here in the United States. I pre-ordered my copy. I think Michael has too in Germany, right?
Of course. Yeah. But do you agree when I say that describing his music is like dancing your name? It's next to impossible. Yeah.
It's relaxing. It's easy. Yeah. And gorgeous and beautiful, and
but you really have to hear it to understand it.
Yeah, I mean, sweeping pianos and guitars and some strings here and there. Michael's also done a solo album. It's by a Portland label, I believe, or Portland, Oregon distributor, and we're going to kiss his ass a little bit here as we.
But righteous so, because he really is a great guy.
If you like Michael's recent trashing of the Rolling Stone half-speed masters, and you like my snarkiness and my whack-a-moles, I mean, maybe most of your viewers and mine overlap, but there's a lot of.
Probably, yeah.
I think you have a lot of more serious viewers.
I don't know all that. No.
Because I go all over the place. I'm like the wacky, crazy uncle here on the BC. Anyway, 500 subscribers contest, enters contest, and there's 5 questions. So
yeah,
how do we start here?
Yeah, Messi, I suggestion you read the questions.
Okay.
Is that okay with you? And
Absolutely.
Then we both answer them one by one.
You want to translate them into German, or does it matter?
I think it doesn't matter. Germany, we all speak English. Like you Americans, you all speak German, aren't you?
So? Dankeschön.
Bitte schön. Geh schlafen.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna just say something I remember, but I don't remember anything. Okay, the first question is: show an unexpected record that you discovered, either a blind buy or something you had zero previous knowledge that blew you away. So a record that you stumbled on, maybe you bought it by chance, maybe you liked the cover, you grabbed it. It wasn't something you heard on the radio a lot and you really wanted to get and listen to. Sort of an accidental discovery in a way. I mean, nothing's accidental, but I have a few of them, but you want to start?
As you like. Okay, with this question, I start, next one you start, okay? Yeah. Okay, then I start, and this is quite new, and I think we have been here in Europe, we got it 14 days earlier, because it's from Decca, and it comes in a beautiful box set. And this one is Ennio Morricone, who died last year, and it's Morricone Segreto, which means probably Italian, and those are, at least on vinyl, unpublished movie scores from Ennio Morricone. And I was so surprised, also comes with a 45, with a single, all on transparent yellow vinyl, which in this case I think is beautiful when you think about the Italian sun. And this album, I play it mostly all the time in the last 10 days.
Now, are they segments of pieces of unreleased music, or from different movies?
Yeah, throughout from the early 70s until the very, very early 80s, but gorgeous. You know these Italian movies probably, and the atmosphere of these songs, you really get into these kind of movies, into the Italian way of life. It's fantastic, and it sounds outstanding. This album sounds, or double album in this case, sounds gorgeous.
I think a lot of the Americans were turned on to him because he did the spaghetti western film, The Good, Bad, and the Ugly, and that whole series of films with Clint Eastwood.
So this is, I stumbled on it and said, oh, what, Ennio Morricone? I have to get it. And then I got it, and it's a beautiful, beautiful one. But I think since last Friday, you also can get it in the United States. Highly recommended.
What label is it on?
Decca.
Oh, you said Decca. I wasn't paying attention. Sorry, Michael.
No problem. No problem. So that's my answer to the first question from Mike.
I have two. One goes back 40 years because it's an unexpected record I discovered in the middle of 1980. I was in London, and I remember going in on the HMV store. Oh no, it was the Virgin Mega Store, the Virgin record store on Oxford Street in London. And they had piles of records. This was the vinyl period still. And I saw this record, Echo and the Bunnyman Crocodiles. It had just literally, I think it came out that week or 2 weeks before. And nobody in America that I know, at least, had heard of Echo and the Bunnyman. But I loved this name. The name just was hysterical. Echo and the Bunnyman. In 1980, there weren't bands with those type of names. This was in the midst of the punk scene. So you had the Slits or the Clash or the Sex Pistols, and Echo and the Bunnyman sort of sounded psychedelic, sort of sounded like a 60s name, for Dave Clark 5, or I don't know, it just sounded a silly name, a little psychedelic. I later would find out they were a band from Liverpool, and this was their first album. So this is the UK pressing I bought at that moment just by cover. I didn't even sample it.
I think Echo and the Bunnymen, at least here in Europe, there always has been, I hope it's the correct term, on the brink of becoming really big, but they never did. And then I never understood that, because they have done fantastic albums. Ocean Rain, it's an unbelievable great album, I think.
Ocean Rain is my favorite album, and it sounds so good, well recorded. They had a great sound because they had a little bit of a you're talking about Morricone and these majestic soundscapes and epic soundtracks, especially on Ocean Rain. Not as much here, but even their singles collection.
Or the Cutter, the Cutter? Yeah.
Yes, Rescue, Come to My Rescue, and all those. But that was one. The other one, this is a band that has been out for some time now, and I used to see their records, and I just never picked them up until this year. And I never even listened to them. I thought they'd be really electronica. Not that I'm not into that, but it just escaped me. And of course, my friend Amanda, the archivist, and her friend Zach came over a little over a year ago. And that was Stereolab, Dots and Loop. And I ended up getting, all the Stereolab reissues, which are really great because, yes, there's some electronic stuff in this music, but it's also very loungy, very French pop sounding, very bachelor pad, a little psychedelic. Each one's a little different. And so I didn't even hear it, but based on their recommendations, I picked up this album first, Dots and Loop. Of course, people in the vinyl community and a lot of European
But I have to give you some pain now, Messi. You have black vinyl.
I do.
Black vinyl. You know, the cool guys, they have the clear vinyls.
Yeah, I don't think I have that. I'm not cool. You know, I'm surprised.
I don't know if maybe you can't even get them over in the United States on the clear vinyl, because the clear vinyl were very, very limited.
I went with the colored vinyl in my recent Kraftwerk collection. That's all in color. You know, I don't go for color just to go to color unless it's a
Why? Yeah, you're right.
Thing. I'd rather have the black actually most of the time if I get. You know.
Has it advantages? Yes.
I think you can see it better. I still think most color vinyl, if it's good vinyl, it'll sound just as good as a black.
Messi, in our age, it doesn't matter. Is it black vinyl, pink vinyl, whatever vinyl?
Okay, question number 2 for Michael, noted in archive, who everyone here is going to click and just subscribe it. Just freak his ass out and subscribe to him.
Yes.
Show 2 albums with the greatest polarity, opposite ends of the spectrum, the widest expanse of genres in your collection. For instance, a black metal album next to a solo piano record. So 2 albums that have nothing in common, that are really wide area of the spectrum. And okay, I'm going to start with.
Yes, you start.
East means west. Yehudi Menuhin and Ravi Shankar. This came out within a week or two in 1967 of the release of Sgt. Pepper. And of course, Sgt. Pepper had Within You and Without You. And of course, there's always a Beatle connection. So I'm going to make that here. And Ravi Shankar obviously is a big part of the Beatle connection. This is one of the first East-West collaborations. Yehudi Menuhin is an American-based violinist. And this has a combination of Western classical music and Indian classical music. This was the fastest selling album Angel Records, classic label, ever had at the time. It sold a lot. I think it won Best Chamber Music Album of the Year. Side 1 is more the Indian work, and it has some Shankar ragas with Yehudi, obviously, on violin. And side 2 is the classical work. So it has Romanian Sonata number 3 in A minor by Hefizba. I'm sorry, I don't even remember who that's written by. Oh, Enesco, Georges Enesco. Of course, I need Michael, the other Michael, Poetry and Plastic, here to help
us out here. But he will probably do his own answer to the contest. I hope, at least.
If you're watching, Mr. Poetry,
help us out here.
Enesco. Is it Georges? Jorge? No, it's
Georges.
Romanian. How would you say that in Romanian?
I can tell you how I say Romanian names in German. Georges.
Okay, Enesco, that's who it is. This is a great record. It sported 2 sequels after this. And so this is on one end of the spectrum, beautiful classical Indian music. On the other is the great club comedy album of Woody Allen collection.
Okay.
So you don't think you'd have Yehudi Menuhin. Now, Yehudi Menuhin is Jewish, and so is Woody Allen, so there's a connection there. But this is a comp that came out in the late 60s, early 70s, and it came out with several different covers over the years of some of his best stand-up comedy, because before Woody Allen really became a great film writer, screenwriter, and film director, he was a stand-up comedian. He played all the major clubs.
So I thought that this was a record when he plays the clarinet, because he missed the Oscars because it's on a Tuesday and he always plays the clarinet.
Exactly.
So I thought that
Monday nights he used to play in Michael's pub all the time. I saw Woody Allen in New York in 2005.
Right.
Play with his jazz band, very trad jazz, New Orleans style. He plays the clarinet.
And was it any good or?
It was fantastic.
Okay.
I mean, he doesn't get up and say, "Hi, I'm Woody Allen, do shtick." He's just one of the guys there, and it's like Dixieland and traditional trad, New Orleans type jazz. That's what you get. And he plays at the Carlisle Hotel on the Upper East Side. Obviously, right now we're not doing that. A great kind of old school New York establishment. This is the nightclub years, 1964 to 1968. And it includes one of his most famous sketches called the Moose Sketch. And
Okay.
it's about this Jewish family, a couple called the Berkowitzes, that are driving on a highway at night and hit a moose, kill a moose. So they strap it on the car, they drive into the city, and they have to, and they're on their way into New York City to go to a Halloween party. And they go into it, and of course the moose comes in, and everyone thinks it's in a costume. And then the best costume award comes in, they give for the best costume. And the Berkowitzes, or one of the other families, win first prize. The moose comes in second. And the first prize winner were dressed as a moose. The moose is pissed. The moose wakes up. I mean, it's a whole story, but it's a great sketch, and I digress. So
do you still listen to that kind of stuff sometimes? You listen to that record, the Woody Allen?
Every couple of years, you know, I mean, I just know, I used to know this stuff by heart. When I was a kid, I used to listen to comedy records. I don't much anymore, but because now you can watch bits on TV shows from the 60s or something. So, but it's a great record.
I guess so, yeah. So now mine. Okay, you started with a classical one. I do that too, because my first pick is also a classical. And we are talking here about a Debussy. And this is from the French record company. And French record company is similar to the electric recording company. They go the whole 9 yards when it comes to the cover recreation, the pressing, a very, very, very special recording from Debussy and played on the piano by Marcel Meyer. It's a French a woman. And what's so special about this recording, next to the effort they went through, is that this is not a remaster. This is the first time this 70-year-old master is on vinyl. It has never come out on vinyl. So in a way, this is an original. Very beautiful Debussy album. And my contrast is a British band. And this British band goes by the name Smell and Quim. It comes on fancy, it's a double album, comes on fancy pink vinyl. And Smell and Quim is a noise band from the late 80s to the mid 90s. And it's really out there, Messi. If you want to impress somebody with strange music, or say, if you get through this double album, I pay the meal tonight. You won't have to pay the meal. This is hardcore. Is
it like four-way anal clinic or anal touch?
No, it's much harder. Trust me.
Cosmic Bondage sounds pretty out there.
It's
Touch Fight. That's what I'm thinking of.
This is a tough one. This is a tough one. I don't get it. I have it. I like to put it on sometimes, but only one side, because in a way it's interesting how far music can reach out, how far music goes. You know, I showed sometime, I showed Merzbau, but this even goes a little far. Try that one out, Messi. If you have it in you, try this one out. So this is my...
Smell and Quim sounds like one of the side effects they'd list on a pharmaceutical advertisement. you will...
It's a tough one. This one came out, I think, last year on Hospital Productions, which is in New York.
That nails it right there. Hospital Productions.
Yeah, there you have it. It's quite an interesting label. He's into power electronics. He's into noise music, black metal. Very interesting label, this Hospital Productions. And so I ordered it without knowing what I get, put it on my turntable, and was quite surprised.
Is that like that album, that label we talked about in one of our four corners, we'll put whatever the fuck we want out?
No. Compared to this one, this is folk music. No, can't compare them at all. It's go over to Bandcamp, or maybe on YouTube. You have some.
I think I'll pass. I'll trust you there.
Give it 2 minutes, Matthew. 2 minutes.
Okay. Question number 3. Show an album you might be embarrassed to own, but you don't care. You love it. You start off this one.
Okay, so I have to talk about it a bit, why this is embarrassing to me. Maybe you know that. You know that?
I have that album. Yeah. I have it. It's a great album.
It is. Why is it embarrassing to me to have it? Because I live in Düsseldorf, as you probably know. Can comes from Cologne, which is our neighbor town. Exactly.
It's like a Giants-Dodgers thing.
Since 625 years, there is a huge rivalry between Cologne and Düsseldorf. And you know, Düsseldorf had Kraftwerk. Cologne had Can. And to have
someone to do a Can versus Kraftwerk video.
We can't do that. But you're on the side of Can, please. Once more, I'm on the Kraftwerk side.
I have Tago Mago. I have 3 of their records, and I wouldn't be able to talk about them as intelligently and fully as you would.
Of course, this is great krautrock. It's a fantastic album in a way. But for a guy who lives since decades in Düsseldorf, this is kind of embarrassing to have. So I have to put it in the vault, man.
Okay, well, my choice is basically Michael's choice, because Michael and I are embarrassed together to like this artist, and I don't think there's anything to be embarrassed about.
No,
and that's Enya. I love Enya from Clannad, Irish, Celtic, Kumbaya singer. I first got into her because of Orinoco Flow, Flow, which was a single all over MTV with that kind of semi-illustrated portrait. Let it flow, let it. And it's so good. And of course, like Michael, Enya. Come on. If you don't like Enya, you don't deserve to be a vinyl collector or a record collector. It's so soothing. It's beautiful music. It's easygoing. It's uplifting. It's just joyous, you know, and it has really great sound. I mean, I don't listen to headphones a lot unless I'm traveling. I'm not a headphone listener at home, but her records are really good headphone. So I just love her. I mean, even just having this best of, because it has also some of this tunes she's done from various movies, even Lord of the Rings type of things. She
still put out records? Do we know that? Are there still new records from her? I don't think so.
She hasn't had a new well, she had one, I think, this decade, and I have all the rest of her on CD, so I only have those 4 on vinyl. But I'll fight to the right for Enya.
Okay.
That's what Michael picked, so you know.
Yeah, right. He picked it too. Yeah.
Yes. Keep going.
Wait a second. Have you subscribed by now? If not, pause the video, go to Noted and Archive, and please subscribe to Michael, please.
God, this is like pledge night. Do you have pledge nights in Germany, like on KQED? And now we're going to have Peter, Paul, and Mary perform from their 1966 concert, Blown in the Wind. And dial this number and pledge and subscribe to Noted and Archived Michael, now in Los Angeles. Okay. You did your question. Okay. And now, show your most listened to album in your collection of all time and or most recently.
I think you start now.
Well, okay. Michael and Michael, the 2 Michaels here who have been my partner for the last few months on the Four Corners video. mock me continuously. I'm like third man out. Every time we go out drinking, they beat up on me. You know, we actually have never met in person, but because I always show this album, and I think I showed 40 copies of this record, but it would have to be Sgt. Pepper Lonely Hearts Club Band. And I know someone in the vinyl community, I won't mention his name because it's not about him this time. It's only about R. Michael. At the end of his video, just ran over a copy of this record, smashed the cover up and smashed it because it's been shown so much in the vinyl community. Well, it's one of the most popular records ever made. Put yourself in the shoes of a young 12-and-a-half-year-old, almost 13-year-old boy buying this record the day it came out, this copy in stereo, and listening to this album for the first time and listening it to 3-4 times a day for a month. It's easy to kind of jump on it now and say, what's so great about Sgt. Pepper? But first of all, the cover alone was magnificent. This was the original.
Still is magnificent. The cover still is
the original inner sleeve it came in, and of course, it came in with this kind of fold out, which I have several copies of. This is my original version of it, but the cutouts. I listened to this more than anything over the years, probably. I mean, is it my favorite Beatle album? No. Just to make you jealous, this is actually a promo mono copy.
Wow.
Promo. And then the other half of the question, an album I listened to a lot most recently. And interesting thing is, this is a very old record, but I pulled it out this past year because of where we are going, especially, I mean, in the world and in America. And it's Bob Dylan's Another Side of Bob Dylan. And I pull this out mainly because one of my all-time favorite Dylan songs that I got into, not because of Bob Dylan, but is on this record, My Back Pages, the great version by the Byrds. And it's on this record. So I went back to listen to that. Of course, it has All I Really Want to Do and Chimes of Freedom. And, you know, there's a certain political beauty to this record and to the early Dylan records that he talks about, you know, social responsibilities and racial tension and just, it's a very, almost like a religious side of politics. It's not outright. And I think I've been into the whole political thing this year, which I won't wreck it on this video. But this has I keep going back to this record, and especially I keep playing My Back Pages. And it's a great record, great Dylan record. I need to get, I'm sure did you get the mono MoFi of this, or the MoFis?
Yeah.
I don't have the MoFis, and I know they're really hard to get now. So
yeah, they are. This train is out of the station.
Yeah, I left that. I've only got, I think, 4 of them.
At least you have 4 of them, but you have the Desire on the special.
I have the Desire, I have Blonde on Blonde, and I have Times They Are Changing. I have Basement Tapes and 5, and I have John Wesley Harding.
Great.
But I need the earlier ones, but I'm not going to get them, I guess. So there you go.
So my turn. The record I have heard the most in my lifetime. It was really tough because I don't have a record like you, where from youth on up to now I'm always listening to that. So I remembered a record I listened for years, day by day. And I think this is even more important, a more important record than Sgt. Pepper's from the Beatles. And this is my original pressing from Susie Quattro.
I like that
Crash. So this was one of my first 3 records when it came out. Probably my grandmother or somebody bought it. And on my little tiny record player, I played that at least 10 times per day. And this is probably the record I've listened the most.
And is that the copy? Is that the copy that you had?
It's the copy, yes.
I like that.
Yeah. And that's probably the record I listened to the most. And now for the record I listened most recently. And this is Happy Roads Do you know Happy Roads, Mazzy?
I do not.
This is an American art rock.
That's the Numero group.
Yes, exactly. And this is a sampler from her. It's called Ectotropia. If you are into Kate Bush, you
Very
will
much.
probably love this recording. It's not in print anymore, but you can get it very, very easily and quite cheap, around 15 to 18 bucks over at Discogs. And really try this one out.
Is she a new artist, contemporary recording now?
No. Yeah, she started in the early 90s.
Got it.
And beautiful sounding, fantastic records.
Is she like Enya? Is she like Enya?
No, she's like, no, she's really, she reminds me sometimes on Kate Bush, really. It's beautiful recording, beautiful songs, beautiful double album. So try her out. You can, up to now, you can easily get this album, although it's probably out of print.
The Numero group is an amazing label. Reissues, archival, and new stuff. They just do things really well. Now, I don't really follow and know much about their pressings, and we're not really getting into the whole mastering pressing things on this video, since it's for Michael, who you have all pushed the button and subscribed to. Be a subscriber. Come on, give us a break. Jesus. What else do you have?
You will love his videos. If you like Mazzy's video, or if you like my video.
If you like my videos, you're not going to like Michael.
You probably like him too, of course.
Michael is the most easygoing, calm guy on the one of them in the vinyl community. He's just so methodical, great design sense, minimal. I mean, his way of speaking is very minimal, like his music, I think.
You're right.
And, he's just a delight. I can't mock him at all because there's nothing to mock.
You're right. It's difficult to mock. It's difficult to mock him. You're right.
We don't want to mock him.
You am probably a much easier target.
I'm an easy target because I put myself out there. Okay, but this is not about me. This is about you, Michael. Noted and archive. Push that subscribe button. Did you push it? Put us on pause. Go.
Mazzy, I'm sure they all have pushed it by now. Who had what? You have to be a person if you don't do that.
Exactly. Okay, and the final question. This is a good one. This comes up actually a lot, this question that people like, and I haven't done this in a while, but this is about vinyl community channels that you first saw and you recently saw. So what was the first vinyl community video or channel you saw? And what was the most recent vinyl channel you subscribed to? Because there are a lot in every, I don't know if you do. I mean, I go through my subscribers on my YouTube, but also I click the other button just to see what's up, and the algorithm shows suggestions. And especially this time of year, the best time to jump in, and I think we both can suggest, if people want to jump in now, it's a good time. Do the vinyl tag, the 2021 vinyl tags in this case. There's several of them, but maybe do the main one first and take it from there. Because that's how we all find you, because the algorithms bring it up. And also put tags on your videos, vinyl community.
Right.
I'll start out with
use those contests, because that helps to get acquainted to the medium, to start doing a video where you have your content in a way given to you. That really helps.
Yeah, subscribe to Michael again. Noted and archive, and if you subscribe and do his video and showcase these questions, a lot shorter than we're blabbering on because there's two of us, but you could win a $50 gift certificate to Music Direct, I think, or Acoustic Sounds, one of those places.
Acoustic
$50. Yeah, you could barely buy a MoFi record for that. So yeah.
But did you answer the question by now, Mazzy?
I didn't, but let's go back and forth on this one. Let's do the first one.
Yeah.
The first video first. The first vinyl community channel you saw. For me, it was a German fellow who doesn't seem to be around anymore, called Audiophile Laws. Armian, Audiophile Laws. And he did a lot of jazz records. He was really sweet and really showcased some amazing, amazing stuff. One of the first vinyl community members I saw that just did a lot of jazz at the time. He hasn't made a video in 3 years, and I'm really kind of sad and curious what happened to him.
Yeah.
So
I don't think he comes back after 3 years.
yeah.
I don't think
Audiophile Laws. So if anyone knows what happened to him, that was my first. Who was your first?
My first, I can't tell you exactly 3, but I don't know who was the first. Julius Jabbar, Baraka P. Dub, and you. And I don't know which one I looked first. But don't forget, Messi, it's only 8 months ago that I started to watch VC videos. So
you're the true star of this. You just exploded. Your channel's exploded because
I had my share of help.
You do something that no one else does. Only, I mean, I'll show MoFis and I'll show, in fact, when I did my audiophile records, a lot of people like to see those. I get a lot of viewers. You pretty much only do that, with some exceptions, like how you trashed those goddamn shitty ass Rolling Stone half-speed masters recently.
Yeah, but I try, I try to sneak now in other music, so avant-garde electronic, because if you do a solo video only about avant-garde electronic or neoclassical music, it's difficult to get that out. But if you sneak them into the newest Morphea and analog productions plus new avant-garde electronic, everybody loves them, and that's great.
Yeah. Okay, the other half of the question is, and what are the most recent VC channel you subbed? Why don't you start with that one?
Oh, that's an easy one for me. The latest I subbed is Madam Sin. He does great videos. Mostly he plays music and dances to the music, but he has a certain aesthetic which I really love. He's very much into vintage audio and vintage music. It's a very, very special channel, which I really can recommend. And I think he's a comebacker in a way. He has had his channels and now he's coming back, I think.
He's got a very unique style, which is great. I think that's what I'm attracted to most of the time.
He scared the shit out of me one time, but that's a whole other story.
I think that's really good. I actually chose 3, and I think what you should do is you should put a link on your video to Madam Sin, and I'll put a link in mine to these 3 people. And these aren't the only ones, but these are 3 that in the last few months, some more recent than others. The youngest member, and I hate to do it, choose it like that, but it's Nick Rudo, and he does a lot of jazz. I think he has like 79, as of this writing, 79 subscribers. I'll put a link to his channel. He also follows me and comments on a lot of my videos on Instagram and on videos. And he's been into a lot of jazz. He's been, like many people, picking up the tone poets. And just, I like to see younger members. I don't know how old you are, Nick, but my guess is in your 20s of some kind. But that's my guess. I don't know. Another one that literally has 1 video, and he made a vinyl tag video. And the only reason I'm mentioning him, because I hope he does more, because anytime I get turned on to something that I order right away, that to me is a great influence. Yeah. He goes by the name of Mr. Shelf Stager. I think it's Stager? Stacker, Mr. Shelf Stacker, out of the UK, bald guy, UK.
With or without a hat?
Pardon me? No hat. He only made 1, but he did the new vinyl tag 2021. That's how I came across him. And he showed this record, the unreleased Pretty Things record. Pretty Things it's kind of a 60s bluesy UK band that influenced Led Zeppelin a lot. Then in the early 70s, they did sort of glam rock kind of stuff, but they did SF Sorrow, which is considered the first rock opera before Tommy. But they did this record, I think right after or right before, I forgot now, SF Sorrow, that it was a French rich playboy that had so much money that hired him to back him up. So it's Pretty Things, but it's supposed to be really good, almost like French loungy stuff with the Pretty Things. I just ordered it. It's arriving next week, so I'll showcase it.
Yeah, dude.
But I'm going to put a link to Mr. Shelf Stacker. I think he's really interesting. And lastly, one that you and I both like, I think, that's been around a few months, and doesn't get a lot of people referring to his channel, but is Sakuzan.
Yes. Yes.
Sakuzan. I'm sorry. Is it Sakuzan? Sakuzan from the UK, British gentleman, very buttoned up, but he really does great, precise videos on usually 1 or 2 records. Very polite. His design style sense is wonderful.
Very well dressed, by the way.
Very well. That's what. Yeah, he's very, very coiffed, which I appreciate that. And really, really nice, and very articulate. So Sakuzan is my other favorite there. So I'm getting like weird light here. I just bought a new camera, so hopefully next time my new camera will be set up here.
So I know what I do now. You know what I do now?
You go subscribe to Note Archived?
No, I have it. I have. But now I go over to him and look if he is at 1,000. Shall we go and have a look if he's at 1,000? I think he is.
Yeah, let me close up for a second here. No, not yet. Come on.
Not yet? Oh, come on. Really? Okay.
Michael, we love you.
We do.
Right? Michael, and Mazzy loves Michael.
Mazzy, thank you.
Thank you, Michael. And go subscribe. And congratulations on 500, and we look for more. Take care. Mazzy loves you.